I've been on the subway my whole life, and never have I seen this many police officers in the system. Behind this change is our now mayor and former NYPD transit officer, Eric Adams. He's used his position to add 250 shifts over the previous administration. For comparison, Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo hired 750 officers. As for the mayor's explanation,
we're going to add hundreds of daily visual inspections from existing police manpower. Omnipresence brings about the level of security and safety.
But a big issue with this omnipresence idea is that it requires either perfect logistics or hiring many more officers in hopes of overpowering the issue. And they've gone with that latter option. So my goal is to form my own opinions about whether or not we need this many officers, and to learn more about what they do. But I realized I don't know anything about what they do. What, they scan the area on their phones? If you go to nyc.gov and you follow these instructions, you'll find a way to contact your local police, referred to as neighborhood coordination officers. In an email I sent to these two officers, I asked for an on-camera interview. I figured that as a high schooler who can't vote, they wouldn't take time out of their busy days to speak with me. But I still wanted to figure out if the busy part was true. That email was sent out on April 3rd. I just had to wait. This led me to the question, do the patrols help us feel safe? It could be my naivety or foolishness, but the subway's always felt as safe to me as street level. It doesn't matter 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., the subway is always running and the lights are on bright. Police can be found around popular stations at busy times, and it sure seems like they spend a lot of their time around turnstiles. It's a vicious cycle, really. Police wait for fare evaders, they catch the fare evaders, they can say crime rate rises, and they place more police in front of turnstiles. Can we not just lock down the gates more? This isn't protection. It's the 18th and still no response. Imagine someone missed a court hearing for a ticket by 2 weeks. I feel safer on a platform because I can hop on a train or leave the station if I feel threatened. But being on the train can be scary. 1 year ago in 2022, a man opened fire on a busy train in Sunset Park. There was no way to evacuate, not just because the train was between stations, but because the doors are locked in these cars. That's pretty dangerous. This was during a morning rush hour, yet police arrived 6 minutes after the original call. That is fairly fast, especially because the New York City average response time for these critical crimes, that is crimes with a weapon, is nearly 9 minutes. But by this point the man fled and was out on the streets for over a day until he turned himself in. We place police in stations for a quick response time. If not, then what's the point? I visited the station 1 year after the attack to see if there were any changes, and the only police I saw were the ones in an advertisement. That keeps us safe, I guess. But I do give both the MTA and NYPD props for these help intercom systems. They've existed since 2011 on platforms and on newer subway cars, and they're well placed. Do they eliminate the need for patrolling officers? I don't think so. At least not until the 45% of cars which don't have these systems do. If the officers aren't on the platform, it shouldn't be difficult for us to figure out what they are doing. When it comes to patrolling just for fare evasion, there are no winners. The individual who might not be able to afford paying the fare or the $100 fine might just keep doing it. The police don't win. Their trained resources are used up on watching the gates. And the revenue from fines goes back to paying salaries. Nor does the city win. Crime is up, people are scared of riding the train, and they don't have faith in the police. And I didn't have faith they would respond to me either. In hopes of actually getting a response, I called up the District 4 office directly via the phone number listed on their website. And they took my name and number and told me to speak with an NCO. Okay, sure. It's been 2 weeks since my call and I've yet to receive any response. I'd like to think that the actions taken by Adams come from his decades of being a transit cop, but there's been a change in climate since he retired. Namely in crime and how crime is reported. One of these changes is further accountability. Videotapes of police and by police have helped raise public trust in officers, but it's still rare to see that dramatic life-saving action we've expected. I mean, the images of a police force and waiting around are just not compatible. I started the film seriously doubting the point of having this many officers. But transit cops very well could serve a purpose to New Yorkers, especially with reform to match the goals of the NYPD. These values include protecting lives and respecting the dignity of riders. It's expected of us to hold these officers to the highest standard of integrity possible. This betters our city and our police force.